Switch 2 leaks are wild and SteamOS might be here sooner than we think. And please, don't mod Tifa anymore. Please? Welcome back to the 128KB News. I almost said podcast, I get so confused. This is your quick bit of gaming news where we catch up in the world of gaming this week in the short news-like video. And yes, by now you know it's neither short nor news-like. And if you do have the attention span of a goldfish and you're just super impatient and just tell me the main story, AJ, well, guess what? There's chapters below just for you. I've little chaptered the video so you can just go and click on the bit you like and you don't have to listen to me waffle and pretend to entertain you. I don't pretend to entertain anyone. I don't know what's happening anywhere here. But anyway, let's jump into the first story this week. And that is that more PlayStation exclusives might be coming to Xbox next year. Ooh, now this is a report from Jez Corden from Windows Central, who's talking about more unannounced games coming that are PlayStation exclusive coming to Xbox next year. This is pretty exciting and it's interesting. It is perhaps the first signs, or maybe just the continuation of PlayStation also loosening their grip slightly on the idea of console exclusivity. Of course, we've seen the crazy success that is the PlayStation first-party titles coming onto PC over the past year. That has been really exciting. We do have Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth coming to PC in January. And of course, we also saw Genshin Impact coming to Xbox, but that was a good 4 years after its release on PlayStation. There's no word on what these games are, and of course, this is all just kind of speculation at the moment. But what is kind of interesting about this is that it ties into simultaneously what Xbox is doing and loosening their grips almost entirely of the idea of exclusivity. They've just kind of abandoned it and turned everything into an Xbox. Yes, your phone is an Xbox. Yes, your fridge is an Xbox. In fact, it does look like one anyway. And probably, I don't know, your cat is an Xbox too. But Xbox has gone almost totally multi-platform. We saw Phil Spencer talking earlier this year, in fact only a couple of weeks ago, about the no red line approach that he has on to what IPs would move on to PlayStation, Nintendo and other mediums if they become available. They're just happy to do anything to get anyone playing their game. And of course, they've got so many studios and so much investment now, they do need to get more people playing their games. We also hear rumours of Forza Horizon 5 coming to PlayStation. That's obviously rumoured but not actually confirmed. What we do have confirmed is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which is an awesome game. If you've not played it yet, do. But that's coming to PlayStation in the spring of next year. So Xbox have absolutely abandoned the idea of exclusivity, and it seems like potentially PlayStation might be doing the same. We also heard this week the Microsoft CEO talking about the future of Xbox and Microsoft gaming in general, and he weighed in and doubled down on the idea of Xbox abandoning exclusivities at all. In fact, he talked about it being the norm that all new IPs that are released will be multi-platform at some point, maybe timed exclusive, but that time frame will get shorter and shorter, as we've seen with the Indiana Jones game. It seems like the idea of console exclusivity is slightly disappearing, and maybe that's a good thing for us gamers. If nothing else, we have learnt that everything is now an Xbox. Okay, moving things along, and let's look at Square, and they are pleading with the PC modders not to let things get out of hand ahead of the Rebirth release on PC. This is amazing. To catch you up if you've been sleeping under a rock, or maybe you've been in a coma and you've just woken up, in which case, welcome. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth is slated for release on PC in January the 23rd. Super excited to see that. Firstly, to see how good it will look on PC, because on PS5 it's a bit of a hot mess, let's be honest. It does work quite well on PS5 Pro, but I don't have one because I'm not that rich yet, because you don't subscribe. So, maybe do that. What is really exciting to see is the actual quite low specs required to run Rebirth on PC. They did announce that earlier this week. So potentially there's some scope for it to be able to be played on some of the PC handhelds, and that's going to be really cool to see. But ahead of its PC launch, what's his name? Naoki Hamaguchi. That's right, I can speak Japanese. The game director of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has pleaded with modders not to let things get out of hand. And we all know what he's talking about. So, in an interview with Epic Game ahead of its launch, Hamaguchi said, "We respect the creativity of the modding community and welcome their creations, though we do ask modders not to create or install anything offensive or inappropriate." Yes. So I'm sure everyone's going to listen to him there. That is obviously just a totally pointless thing, but he needs to say it. It was said from the game director ahead of Final Fantasy 16 coming to PC as well. And of course, it wasn't listened to then either. It's not going to be listened to now. So just link me up on Twitter for anything that's kind of inappropriate and hilarious. He did also talk about the potential for added DLC content for Rebirth, which we did see with the first part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake with Final Fantasy VII Intermission, I think it was called. The Yuffie DLC, which had the Yuffie story missions. And Hamaguchi did say that they did initially have plans for this for when the PC release was going to happen, but they have since abandoned that idea to focus all of their resources onto getting the third part of the remake done and out quicker. I don't know how I feel about that, because I know for certain the third part of Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be at least kind of 3 years off, and I do like the idea of a little bit of DLC content. The Yuffie missions for Final Fantasy VII Part 1 were really good. They're actually some of the best bits about that game because of how linear they made it, how kind of focused and story-driven it was there. There wasn't so much kind of waffle outside, and it made it a real concentrated and exciting experience. So it would have been kind of cool. I don't know what they would have picked out as the DLC content to add to the story, but we're not going to get it anyway, unless he did say that there is an outpour of requests from the community. So basically, we're just not going to get that. Okay, so let's move things on to some of the really exciting stuff that's happened this week, and not often that I talk about this company as something that's exciting. I am talking about Lenovo. And will Lenovo be Asus to the SteamOS punch? No, that's not that alcoholic drink that we all drink at this time of year. No, I'm talking about them beating Asus to having SteamOS on the Lenovo Legion Go. Ahead of CES at the start of next year, it seems like the upcoming Lenovo Legion Go's have leaked more than Nintendo, which I didn't think was possible, but they've managed to do it. This leak in particular came on Twitter and showed 2 of the upcoming Lenovo Legion products. And there's something really interesting about these 2 variants. We saw a black version and a white version, so we're going to get 2 SKUs at least from Lenovo in this new Legion Go. And the most interesting part about this is that the black version has a Steam button on it. Bum, bum, bum! Yeah, that's right, a Steam button on it, which means obviously they are planning on shipping the black version with SteamOS pre-installed. So it will come shipped with SteamOS. That's pretty exciting. It also, interestingly, the white version didn't have it, which means that they are obviously planning on shipping a version that is just Windows and a version that is SteamOS, which is fantastic to give people the options. I know people like Andy on 128KB here, he loves Windows on his Asus ROG Ally, and he would probably want to keep Windows. Me, on the other hand, I'm totally Windows adverse, and I would go for the version that is SteamOS because, well, I'm a dullard and I don't understand how things work properly. What's kind of intriguing about the story is that all the talk about SteamOS rolling out was all focused around the Asus ROG Ally. Even from Valve themselves, the whole idea of SteamOS being beyond the Steam Deck was focused on the Asus ROG Ally and the Ally X. And what's kind of intriguing about this is that if these new Lenovo products are going to be announced at the start of next year, will they be the first handhelds beyond the Steam Deck to have SteamOS? And will Lenovo then beat Asus to having SteamOS by default, even though everything was focused on Asus? That's really exciting. The biggest part about it all is obviously it's exciting to see SteamOS coming to these handhelds because, as I said earlier, for people that are Windows averse like me, that just want a kind of big picture, easy mode to play my games without the distraction and bloat that is Windows, we will soon have that option beyond the Steam Deck. All the ease and practicality and usability of the Steam Deck, but with all the kind of higher performance that we get with some of these other PC handhelds. It is a proper exciting time to be a handheld gamer. Okay, drum roll please, it's that time of the week. Yes, the story that continues to underwhelm and just not go away. It's the bad smell of the week. It is Switch 2 leak time. Yay! And the Switch 2 leaks now have got so far out of hand that we now essentially have the Switch 2 announced just by everyone else instead of Nintendo. So Nintendo, you might as well cancel the very expensive announcement thing that you've got planned for January, because it's going to be January, and just let everyone else do it for you, because it's happened. Every third-party manufacturer that's had anything ever to do with a Nintendo product has basically just leaked the Switch 2. It started last week with the Satisfy Zen Grip 2 with the out of focus Switch 2 in the background that they mysteriously deleted. Oh, we didn't mean to. I didn't hold much water on it, but, you know, it's Satisfy. It's one of the kind of bigger companies. We saw some stuff from AliExpress, which I really didn't pay much attention to, but it seems like this isn't going away. In fact, it's just got more and more and more. D-Brand seemingly don't care about any kind of NDAs or kind of, you know, keeping things secret in their close working with Nintendo. No, they've just slapped it on their website. Here is the Switch 2 inside a case. This is what it's going to look like. And you can clearly see it there. They've not even tried to hide it. It's on their website. In fact, I think it's still on their website. Their CEO even came out and confirmed that that is a mock-up of the Switch 2 inside the thing, which I suppose is kind of obvious because it's obviously a mock-up of the Switch 2 inside their Switch 2 case. It's going to get... Anyway, yeah, that's just kind of dawned on me how much that makes sense, what he said. Now, either Nintendo are, I don't know, sleeping on a rock and haven't noticed, or this is just outright none of it is real, or they don't actually mind that it's happening. They don't particularly care because it's all people talking about the Switch 2. It's all hype, and it's all just adding to the fever and the excitement that's happening ahead of the Switch 2 launch. Firstly, there is the big one that's happened in amongst all these leaks. The first one we can definitely confirm, and that is from Legit Gaming Leaks on Twitter, and they can confirm that the Switch 2 will have a screen. So, you know, at least we know it will have a screen. We've also seen all sorts of prototypes being kind of shown and shown off by these third-party manufacturers. We now know what the console itself will look like. We can see that it's got an 8-inch screen. We can see the dock. We can see the Joy-Cons, how they magnetize in, as we all knew that was going to happen. The extra buttons that we're going to see on these Joy-Cons, the C buttons, and what that could mean. Does it mean it's going to connect to a second screen, or maybe does it mean it's a camera? We still don't know exactly. That's the exciting part about this. Nerd Nest on YouTube, if you don't follow him, go over and follow his channel. He's done a whole 20-minute showcase of one of the Switch 2 prototypes that he's got in hand that he was sent from a case manufacturer. He said yes to getting it because he just thought it'd be interesting to have. And then when he actually got hands-on, you can actually see that it's not just some 3D printed or just some kind of bit of chiseled out wood that's been painted. It's a full-on Switch 2 without any of the internals. You've got the Joy-Cons that magnetize in. There's a glass screen. You can see all the proportions and everything there. It's kind of wild that it's happening. I was so intrigued by all of the leaks that we saw this week that I actually reached out to Mobipad. Many of you that watch 128KB will know we've covered Mobipad extensively in the past. They specialise in producing Joy-Cons for the Switch, kind of Joy-Con alternatives of a really high quality. I really love the company. But anyway, I reached out to them to say, have they been hands-on with the Switch 2 yet? And can you confirm that these images that we're seeing are indeed the prototypes of the Switch 2? And they full-on confirmed that that is absolutely what the Switch 2 will look like. And for me, that's good enough to confirm that maybe last week I was wrong when I was discounting all of this as rubbish, because it seems like we've seen it now. So that's the Switch 2, and no need for the big announcement videos. We can all go back about our daily lives and not be that excited anymore. So yeah, it seems that we now know exactly what the Switch 2 is going to look like, and rather unshockingly, it's just a big Switch. Yay! I guess that's kind of what we wanted. I don't know how I feel now, all of these leaks, them being confirmed, and so many of the bigger brands kind of weighing in and doubling down on these leaks and kind of confirming this is what it is. do they kind of ruin the fun of these releases, the kind of mystery, the Christmas present wrapping of it all, not knowing what's inside? Or do they just add to the hype and excitement and kind of raise the fever pitch? I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comments down below about all of this, and if you agree that this is indeed the Switch 2 that we're looking at. Is that it? Do you have an uncle that works at Nintendo? Let me know down in the comments down below. And whilst you're down there digging around, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. And of course, big news here. No news video next week because of course it's Christmas, but also this will be the last news video on this channel. Yes, we've got something really big cooking up for 128KB for next year. You'll hear all about it next week. Honestly, I can't wait for you to see it. It is so exciting. 128KB is going to be amazing in 2025, and we can't wait for you to join us on that journey because we're a lovely bunch and we do absolutely love you being here. So anyway, until the next time, I'll see you next time.